We are now joined by Tyler Rucker of No Ceilings, ahead of the, well, not ahead of the NBA draft, but taking a look at NBA draft prospects. Tyler, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me on. A beautiful time of the year with March Madness.
Thanks for taking some time away from us. I know it's a busy time. I just wanted to get you away for a segment because I know you were furiously grinding tape, and I wasn't going to have you come on and talk about the backup point guard for a 16 seed, but maybe I'll hit you with a backup big for 15. No, I'm kidding, man.
You're good.
As we take a look at the tournament right now, day one, day two, I mean, obviously it feels like the biggest storyline of the tournament so far outside of the McNeese upset is that Cooper Flagg's ankle ligaments are indeed made of rubber.
Yeah, exactly. I think we were all expecting Cooper maybe to be sidelined for a couple games, but, you know, that's the type of guy he is. He's known as a well-oiled machine that likes to compete and wants to be out there. So if he was even going to be at 70% or 80%, I think he was going to be trying to do everything possible to play. So he's a special talent, but it's good to see him back out there and, you know, obviously having a good day so far.
As I look through my bracket right now, I'm also going through No Ceilings' latest mock draft on your guys' website. It's a fantastic site. I'm noticing that you have at 2 and 3 two Rutgers players, but on my bracket I don't see Rutgers. How could Rutgers have two players that are going to go 2 and 3 and not be in the tournament? Please explain that to me.
You know, I think that's the number one comment we always get when it's like, wait, they had two of the top prospects in the whole country and they didn't make the tournament. You know, it's a little bit of a tough one. They've had a tough team this year. You know, Dylan Harper is one of the more talented guys in this class, and he had a bad flu. I think he lost about 15 pounds, but Ace Bailey's another talented player. It's just, you know, sometimes we all have to remember, like, hey, you need depth. You need some pieces around, and it's just one of those. It's a bummer because they would have been sensational players to be in the tournament, but got to look other ways.
Tyler, the Portland Trailblazers have won 3 in a row now. They are now 2 games out of the play-in, but they're also a game out of being the 8th pick in the, or excuse me, having the 8th best odds at the number 1 overall pick, the 8th worst team, as it were, in the NBA. So there is this very large window for the Trailblazers right now when they're talking about what potential pick they could be looking at. They could, if they have the 8th best odds, they have a roughly 25% chance of moving into the top 4. If they end up making the play-in but not the actual playoffs, they could end up anywhere basically between, 3 and 12. Obviously, the top 3 guys right now, while for the most part not unanimous, are pretty damn close with Cooper Flagg at 1, Dylan Harper at 2, and Ace Bailey at 3. When you look at this Portland Trailblazers team, outside of those 3 guys, in that 4 through 12 range, who is the player that you think fits best with where this team is headed right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's always tough for a fan base when you're like, hey, we're rebuilding, we're building through the draft, like when are the wins going to come? And then all of a sudden your team's getting on a little bit of a hot stretch at the end of the year, and you're like, wait a second, one more year we can wait, we want to get a better pick in this draft class. This draft is going to be strong. It's very top-heavy. I think you get to one point where there might be a little bit of a drop-off, but for a team like Portland where, there's so many routes you can go with the rebuild. You can try to speed it up and make some trades and be aggressive, cut corners if you want to say that way, or you can do the long route, which I think Portland's doing, and is drafting, developing your talent, being patient. With this class, I think they've got a really, really good chance to add another great piece. They can go in so many different directions. I personally just think they're building a great roster, and eventually you're going to have to make some moves and clear up some direction. But, I don't know if Trey Johnson, a lethal shooter from outside, he's at Texas, will be on the board still, but he could be a name. G.J. Edgecombe, I think, probably, if they climbed up there, it could be an option, but it's just Portland's roster with Scoot, Simons, Shaden Sharp, a lot of guards in there. So, I don't know. I think Liam McNeely or Conte Nipple could be guys I'm a little lower on, but, if Portland did make that play in, they might make some sense just with their outside shooting, kind of size and position versatility. So there's a lot of
What's your
different
hesitancy with Con, Tyler?
It's one of those things where I was a little cooler with Con throughout the year, and then you kind of – it's funny because Cooper Flagg, his teammate, was just kind of taking the basketball world by storm with how good he was starting to play. And you kind of quietly forgot, hey, Con Knippel's, shooting high 40% from the field and mid-40s from three and 90% from the line. You're like, he's been playing great. So the more I watch Con Knippel, the more I'm impressed, the more it's just a solid guy that, hey, it might not be the highest upside, but those are the guys I think take teams from, kind of being, we're trying to get into the playoffs to like, hey, maybe you're going to be in the playoffs now. Maybe it's taking a team that he's not going to be making a team all of a sudden go from bad to great, but you might get better in a hurry. It might be that next step forward. So it's just one of those players, like, the more I watch Con, the more I'm like, okay, I'm impressed. I'm seeing something.
If I'm a Blazer fan that wants the Blazers to miss out on the play-in, I think that the route to go is still build through the draft, continue to build up that young talent that they have. What are some teams that I should start watching here on the tournament to get a look at possible rookies that the Blazers might take in the draft? I see right now on No Ceilings you guys have Asa Newell, obviously the big man out of Georgia. Can't watch Georgia anymore thanks to Gonzaga. But what are some other teams that I could watch to look at some potential ads for the Blazers?
I think Duke's obviously going to be easy for everyone, so I'm going to try to steer away from that. Maryland today they've got Derek Queen, who's a talented big man. Now, I know that the Blazers fans are going to hear this and be like, we've got 15 bigs. I get it, guys. I completely understand. But, I'm a big Donovan Clingan fan. I thought they hit a home run when they got him. But Queen is a little bit smaller, but a very gifted playmaker. And I just can't get the idea of like, oh, my gosh, what if you had them on the court together at the same time? So it might be a little bit unorthodox, but that's a name I would keep an eye on. Maybe in their range, Oklahoma with Jeremiah Fears is, and again, like just a talented player. If Portland was in love with them and said, hey, we're just going best player available, we'll figure everything else out. Really talented guard, super young, but again, it's just funny with this Blazers team. They're building so much depth, and eventually you're going to have some overlap. But Illinois is also another one. Kasper Yakachonis, Will Riley, two freshman players, one guard, one forward, really talented. So the Blazers are kind of in this range where there's still so much uncertainty of like, hey, a guy could be up this high or be a little bit lower. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see who makes some noise the rest of the tournament.
Tyler, I was talking to a front office executive the other day, and he asked me about some guys. One of them is wrapping up a game right now at Colorado State in Nick Clifford. He asked me where I had him. I said, I think I've got him 15, 16. He says, oh, you really like him. Talk me out of Nick Clifford. How I don't care that he's 22 years old. I don't care how many years in college basketball he has played. A guy that averages nearly 20, 10, and 4 in college basketball, shooting 50, 40, 78. Why are people so afraid of seniors in the NBA draft?
I can't talk you out of him. He's probably one of my favorite guys in this class. So I knew I was going to like coming on the show. No, I've loved Neek as a prospect since last year. This is a guy that was at Colorado before, transferred to Colorado State. He had a great year last year. I thought he could have been like a guy that snuck into the first round. Decided to go back, and I literally just caught up on all of his tape, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's taken a huge step forward. I mean, I've even talked to a couple teams. One executive was like, hey, told me a couple weeks ago, he's like, that Nick Clifford's my favorite sleeper. And I was like, sleeper? You better wake up. He's not going to be in sleeper range. Like, he's making a lot of noise right now. That's a guy that I think it might shock Blazers fans, but like it wouldn't surprise me if a team like Portland is like, hey, we have the youthful pieces. We love Nick Clifford. Maybe they're picking a little later, or maybe they can move down a little bit. Those are the guys that kind of, all of a sudden get things really interesting. Like Tamani Kamara has now made the Blazers like, oh, their ceiling went up a little higher because they found one here. You get a guy like Nate Clifford along him. Whew. So I love him. He's one of those guys. It's the quickest evaluation I watch because I get done with the tape and I'm like, whew, this was fun. I don't have a lot of complaints here, so I'm a big fan.
Tyler, who is one player not in the tournament right now that, despite not playing, whether a college prospect or an international prospect, that is going to either show up at the combine or, for whatever reason, is going to get that heat between now and the NBA draft?
I think for sure Fleming's a guy that I'm keeping an eye on. It's probably one of my favorite prospects that I just can't get the idea of him ending up in Portland. It would be like I like what the Blazers are doing with building this identity. They're starting to get some nastiness and some defensive mentality, and for sure would just be like another, like, oh, here's another fun piece of the puzzle. He's lengthy. He's had a great year. He could shoot the three ball. He looks like a 6'9" defensive end from the NFL when you see him in person. Like, he's just a scary human being, but I think he's got like a...
He comes from the Noah Vonleh lab of builds.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those, but he's stocky and built. Like, he's gonna shock some people when you see him in person, and he's very lengthy. He's a good defensive player, but so you get that 3-and-D, like just another piece. I think he could start to buzz a little bit. Nick Clifford we just talked about. Overseas, I would say Noah Essengay, I think, could start to buzz. He's been with Ratio Farm Ulm. He's going to be one of the youngest players in this class, but he's about 6'9". I think Portland's history of taking these lengthy forwards with upside, maybe he could come into the picture. A couple different options. Combine's going to be very interesting this year because there's a lot of teams like a lot of these guys in that range, but they're just wanting to get some more answers. So there's excitement, but there's also like, hey, we still got questions.
Tyler Rucker from No Ceilings. Hey, man, thanks for joining us. I know you guys are heading out here for Hoop Summit in a couple weeks. We'll have you guys probably pop in studio and see what comes out of Hoop Summit this year as there are a couple of monsters not only returning but coming in for the first time. It'll be fun to dive into those with, a month away at that point in time until the NBA Draft Lottery.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. Happy to do it anytime.
Hey, appreciate you, Tyler.